Hello, and welcome to episode 99 of Antenna Heads, where we cover the best of TV from today and yesteryear. I am Brian Cassis, joined by Alex Oruju.
Good to be here, Brian, as always. Pleasure to be here. Nice to see you once again.
And Christina Oruju.
I see you all the time, so it's not so much of a pleasure.
That's true. It's probably a bore. It's like, oh, he's wearing that shirt again.
I mean, he's
Kasha.
surprisingly out of the office quite a bit, so...
Oh, taking them photos.
Not really.
No, he's working in the
Usually
city.
for work.
Not as far as my worksheet says.
No, I always take my camera with me now. Always.
So, folks, if you're looking for Brian and you're in New York City, just start hassling people with cameras, and eventually you'll find him. Probably like 9 or 10 people. Especially downtown. I mean, who's got a camera down there?
Yeah, like 9 or 10 people.
That many. How are you guys doing? We're
Good.
back. It's been a bit of a sabbatical, but
Hiatus.
hiatus is another word to use, a synonym.
Unless you've been taking classes or having new learning experiences that'll help you come back and be even better, you're not on sabbatical.
I don't know. Maybe I have been. I've been taking podcasting classes.
Actually, did you know that 2015 is the year of the podcast?
Really?
Yeah.
I thought you were going to say it's the year of the sabbatical. Everyone is off.
Everybody's taking off for a month and then coming back
I
refreshed.
saw a commercial on television that said it was the year of the podcast.
That's ridiculous.
And there's apparently a
We've been doing
podcast, one of those like expos,
Yeah.
like at the not Javits Center, but
Oh,
like
is it the ABC? What does ABC stand for? I forget what it is, but I've heard of it. Yeah.
yeah. So apparently 2015 is the year of the podcast.
Well, there's no better time to end a podcast then. A bit of sad news to kick off the show, folks, but it's going to get a lot happier. You are listening to one of the final 5 episodes of Antenna Heads. For many reasons, mostly lack of listeners. We've decided that our time would be better spent in other ventures, but you got 5 episodes to go, and they'll all be action-packed and hysterical, just like the last 98. So appreciate them, love them, cherish them, and enjoy them.
Cherish all
That's it, Phil.
103
Those are the last ones. Sorry.
episodes.
It will be 103.
This is 99.
Oh yeah, it's 99.
Yeah.
I just said that.
Odd number for a somewhat odd podcast. It's the podcast that
There's 3 of us, so 103 is fine.
that really couldn't, but kept trying even though we
didn't
knew.
care.
Nah, we had fun.
We never cared.
That's
It's all
the
about
important
having
thing.
Fun.
You'll remember, folks, that we're still in the midst of our 2015 Upfronts report card, so we're going to be doing some new dramas this week from everyone's favorite number 4 network. Maybe number 5 now. Maybe number 6. I mean,
No,
Univision's been
number
kicking their
4.
ass. NBC. NBC will be covering here today. A lot of new dramas to talk about, but first, I want to find out what's been going on with my cohorts here. Cris, a banner week for the people, the crew over at CrisConquers.com.
Yeah.
All of them. The multiple people you have there. How has your week
My
been?
team. It was exciting. The Romance Writers of America conference took place this past week in New York City, in which we live. So although I wasn't, part of the conference, I didn't attend the conference. I got to go to a couple events this week and got to meet some of my favorite writers. So it was awesome.
Terrific. And you got to, you made friendships.
I know.
The one thing that has eluded me forever, making friendships, you seem to have mastered because now you're in with the in crowd as it is. All the writers.
With some of them, yeah.
Hitting you up, asking you to go out to drinks. 2 drinks, not 4 drinks. Go to them.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you had quite the week
It was great.
of drunken debauchery.
It
Not debauchery.
There was a lot of alcohol.
Debauchery.
I mean, there wasn't a lot of getting drunk, but there was a lot of alcohol.
Mm-hmm.
More alcohol than usually is consumed by me in a month.
Some of which was on a boat.
Some of which was on a boat,
Yeah,
which was interesting.
it was.
Interesting.
But you had a good week. That's the important
Yeah.
thing. And
It was
you-
eventful.
And maybe more importantly, you distributed a lot
Of business cards.
of business cards.
Good thing you got them.
Yeah, it's a good thing I got them.
There you go.
Well, I got them specifically for this, so.
If you want to read this romance novel blog and beauty blog that's just catching the world
Oh, yeah.
on
By
fire,
storm.
CrisConquers.com. No H in any of that.
There'll actually be a post up about this week. Or the past week.
There you go.
with
You
photos.
can read the notes Cris took while getting more and more drunk. Brayan, you
Wow.
also had a week because you're still alive. How was yours?
It was good. We went away on vacation.
That's right, because you're celebrating your anniversary. 7 years.
Married. Yep.
Is 7
Clap
years?
sound effect.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Is 7 years the one where if you pass that, your marriage is solid?
It's a 7-year
I don't
itch.
know.
That's the thing, yeah. So if you get to 8, you guys are solid as a rock.
Solid as a
Put that in. Yeah. Where'd you guys go?
Boston.
Boston. You guys tend to tour around the country on your anniversaries.
Always go on vacation.
Yes.
I don't know. It's been recent that it's been the country just because it's easier to travel with Nathaniel.
Right.
But yeah, we figured we spent that much money on the wedding. Might as well spend some money on the anniversary.
Absolutely. Keep it alive in your hearts.
Plus, usually that's Dana would be off of school, as a teacher, so it makes sense to travel during the summer.
Mhm.
We like to travel to places that's even hotter than it is here,
That's
which
right.
is usually the case.
Number 8 years, Antigua, baby.
So yeah, but this year we lucked out. It was actually cooler in Boston than it was here.
Do you know the British people say Antigua?
They're idiots. They call elevators lifts. They call
Let's not alienate.
toilets Johns.
a
Oh,
group
because they've
of-
been listening for the last 98
I don't
episodes?
know, but they could start.
I can
now.
tell. Believe me, they have.
I've
What
actually
if
been
our,
to Antigua.
The U.S. Polynesian Islands. Those have been listening.
What if our ratings just like
Spike.
explode?
Then that would mean that they like being insulted.
No. I
Stupid
mean, like,
Brits.
what if our ratings just explode? Like,
In Final Five.
yeah.
Oh my God, they're going away. You got to listen to them.
Then they got to start one of those petitions online to get us back. It's the only way.
Kickstarter.
Make the president make us record more podcasts.
No, president of what? Antigua?
No, of the United
Oh.
States. Oh yes, make the Antiguan president tell us to keep
Does
podcasting.
Antigua have a president?
I'm sure.
Tweet us. Let us know if you're from Antigua.
Yeah, or if you're the president of Antigua, tell us all.
Or if you pronounce it Antigua.
Or the ambassador?
Or you know what? Just shut the hell up. We don't really care what you think.
Why are you being all Brian about this?
That's right. You know what?
Don't alienate people.
Fine. Tweet us on Twitter at antenna_heads. There you go, folks. Fun week for everybody. I got a job, so that's great. But the more important news came out of NBC. Actually, there is no news out of NBC because this was all announced months ago, but it's once again time to look at some new dramas coming up in the fall and beyond. It's time for the 2015 Upfronts Report Card, and we're starting with NBC's dramas.
Solid, solid as a rock, and nothing's changed it. The thrill is still hot, 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 hot.
So, this week, taking a look at the dramas on NBC, and there's a lot of new ones. Many of them...
New ones or nuance?
There's no nuance in any of them. One of them is with a woman just covered in tattoos, but we'll get to that. A lot of new ones. Most of them seem like they're going to fail in the first season. It should be said, last season, NBC did terribly. I think they canceled 8 shows, and 7 of the 8 that they canceled were first season runs.
And then some of the ones they kept were just garbage.
Mysteries of Laura.
Yeah.
I think the only one that they canceled that was in its second season was Your
About a
Boy.
Boy, yeah.
About a Boy, yeah.
R.I.P.
But they're trying with new dramas. I think they're playing it very safe with these dramas.
Safe is like
As
hospital
in
food.
done and dead.
Let's not rekindle that oatmeal debate from last week. But, dinosaur eggs. Oh, apples. Screw it.
Listen, you never had the oatmeal with dinosaur eggs?
Just stop. No more.
was
I
awesome.
didn't,
Not again.
but we won't talk about this
It was
anymore.
awesome.
We didn't have those. We didn't drink like Capri Sun either. We had sips. All right.
Yeah,
We were a
we
Sips
did.
family.
Or Mondos, the ones you had to snap
Oh,
those,
everyone loved
the
Mondo.
Yeah.
thing off.
yeah. But we're
Somebody
gonna-
tried to capitalize on that, and they tried to steal that.
Did they?
Oh, there was another brand that had them too.
Yeah, but Mondo was the first one.
But I don't remember what the other brand was.
And it quickly
I
surpassed
think,
them.
actually,
we used to have Capri Sun too.
sometimes we did.
It was always
When the money was
It
good.
was always strawberry kiwi.
I hated that one too.
Yeah, I like the high C one though. I like just the plain high C juice boxes.
It was, you know who actually capitalized on it? It was, the Kool-Aid. Kool-Aid's come in
that's
those.
true. He's
Yeah.
right. Does it look
That's
like the
fine.
Kool-Aid
Yep.
guy?
Anyway, back to dramas. 6 new dramas we're going to be talking about here
We used
today.
to have those all the time.
We did.
Yeah.
6 new dramas. We used to have dramas back in the day. One of them, the first one we're going to talk about here,
NBC used to have shows back in the day.
they used to have solid shows.
Wow.
Nowadays, it's like,
I'm just gonna keep making that sound.
I'm just going to
Giraffe.
that's my new,
Wah.
phone ringer.
My
Anyway, ringer. Chris, you're going to tell us all about our first new drama
Do
here
I really have to?
on the show today.
I'll do it.
BlindSpot. All about BlindSpot. Very interesting new show coming from actually our old friend Greg Berlanti, producer of, among other things, The Flash, Arrow, Supergirl, which is coming up.
Mysteries Lore.
Shocking. When I found that out, I almost plotzed, as the Jews say. I didn't realize he's done all these great shows, and then it's like, well, here's this black sheep. Chris, tell us all about BlindSpot.
BlindSpot is about a woman who's found in a bag in Times Square.
As often happens.
And she is naked and covered in tattoos and has no narrative memory.
Well, what kind of memory does she have, Chris?
She has, it starts with a P.
It's a procedural memory.
Procedural memory.
That made me laugh when they said that, but go ahead.
So I guess in theory she doesn't remember anything about her past, but she does have certain skills,
Right.
certain skills, talents,
Right,
I
right.
guess, that have stuck with her, like languages that she can speak,
Fighting.
hand-to-hand combat skills.
Yeah. Well, we say languages she can speak.
It's Chinese.
We hear her speak Chinese, and really it's like, Madam, are you sure you still have
Right.
your procedural
I'm not
memory?
saying her accent is on point, but she
Uh,
can speak it.
It's pretty bad.
I'm pretty sure.
can read it.
I'm pretty sure me living in close proximity to Flushing for 22 years, I could have given a better rendition of whatever
No.
Chinese word she was saying.
Let's try that, but next podcast. We'll give you time to prepare.
I will study for a week.
2015年10月1日
Does he speak Chinese?
That's an address and a date.
So, basically she has the name of an FBI agent tattooed on her back, and her tattoos serve as clues to stop a major,
Calamitous event.
terrorist attack. I don't know.
Yeah, they're
situation.
trying to blow up the Statue of Liberty, so yeah.
From occurring. So they're following the
Guess that's
clues
terrorism.
on her body and trying to figure out how she got to where she is.
Right. This is an interesting show. I think it's a very good concept. I think it's fascinating where you have this person, she doesn't know anything about herself, but she's this wealth of information in a different way, and she has these skills that help the detective, the FBI agent, stop crimes. I think that's an interesting concept. I think it's far better suited for a movie, though,
I think so too.
because here,
I feel like that's probably true about several of the upfronts we saw.
Yeah.
Or read.
yeah, definitely Heartbreaker. I'd have watched a movie if that was
No.
Heartbreaker.
Maybe a lifetime. Not even.
But I think when you try to stretch out this concept to multiple episodes or multiple seasons, it kind of wears thin. I think it's a lot like The Blacklist in that regard, where you have this person who has this information. In the case of The Blacklist, it's
Spader.
James Spader, who knows a list of all these people and what they're going to do. Here, she just has this list on her body.
Intelligently enough, they made it long enough that they have 3 seasons.
They should have
of it.
made her. They should have picked like the tallest possible actress, just they could fit more things on her to
use
stretch out
tiny-
the series.
they use
Tall.
Tiny print.
It is small print.
Yeah.
Hopefully-
A lot. She's covered in tattoos.
Hopefully, at one point they'll like get canceled and then get renewed, and it's like, oh look, under my lip, there's more stuff.
That
But
must have been a pain to get ready for.
yeah. Oh, and I mean, you have to keep doing it all the time.
Yeah.
It is a lot of work.
Well,
But
if you're wearing clothes, you're fine.
I think this is a somewhat
But
is
it's got to
somewhat of a
match
stretch.
exactly every time, though.
Yeah, that's what
it's
makeup
probably just like
artists do.
a stencil or like a stick on, like a
They would-
one giant rub on tattoo.
Maybe it's like a bodysuit it just puts on.
It's possible.
I'm pretty sure that's not at all possible.
Why not?
It's not.
It zips in the back.
Oh,
It's
it
covered
could
up
be.
in makeup.
I think it's much more likely that they have stencils or ready-made,
Yeah, like stick on, like
transferable ones,
yeah. like iron on tattoos.
temporary tattoos.
Brian, what'd you think of the show?
I thought this was their best attempt at something new-ish for them. They're definitely obviously capitalizing on he's also the executive producer from Blacklist is also involved in this, no?
I will tell you in a second.
I'm pretty sure I saw at least in the trailer in the upfront. They have Jamie Alexander here to play the lead role.
Yep.
And I like her in this, although she doesn't have a lot of lines, but you could tell she plays it well, I guess.
Do you recognize her?
No. I've never seen that woman before in my life.
Then why's your name tattooed on her back?
Her narrative memory has been obliterated, but her procedural memory still seems to be intact.
And she'll never get her memory back?
Honestly, we have never had a case like this before.
I'm Special Agent Kurt Weller.
Please tell me you know what's going on.
There is no match to your prints or your DNA. And facial recognition did not find you in any of our databases.
I guess. I mean, I thought some of her performance was a bit wanting, though. I thought the better actor of the two leads was actually Sullivan Stapleton, who plays the FBI agent.
I thought it was weak anyway, but
it's a very... We've talked about this before. This is the classic model I've grown to hate, where you have one person with some sort of skill set, and you have an FBI agent, and they team up and fight crimes.
Right.
He's the the boring one, the FBI agent, and that can be a very boring character to play because you're always acting off of what the other person does.
most of her acting though is nonverbal, at least in the upfront that we saw. So in that sense, I can only just go off of that. And I thought she had committed. Some of it's overacting in that, she's got some weird expressions and some of her lines, help me out or something like that. It's just like,
Particularly her lines in Chinese.
Oh God,
the
that
line in Chinese is ridiculous.
That part when she stops the attack from the Asian gentleman.
I blame on the director. They wanted her to do something that she went too
it was like
overacted on or whatever.
The Terminator.
I mean,
listen, is it gonna do well? It's got a solid season for a season's worth of story. A short season. This is not a 22 episode story.
This is actually coming in the fall.
Yeah, but I don't think this is going to be enough to carry them over for 22 episodes.
I mean, it's Mondays at 10. And the interesting thing is it's following The Voice. So clearly, this is the old,
This is their old Blacklist.
Exactly.
Right. So no, they're banking heavily on this, and they should, because it's probably their best show they have to offer. It's not original in any way, shape, or form. I mean, it's your standard, as Al mentioned, your new focus of superpowered person or crazy capabilities person with your boring law enforcement person to kind of balance it out and make it all legit,
right.
Because they can read Miranda rights and all that stuff. You have a target. In this case, we haven't blown up the Statue of Liberty in a while, so let's use that.
What was that?
X-Men.
No, but the one in the 60s. It's the
Oh.
Planet of the Apes?
No. He's talking about the Hitchcock one.
Yes.
Oh.
Is Saboteur?
No.
Sabotage?
Maybe?
It's one of the two.
It's Saboteur or Sabotage. I can't remember which one it is.
Yeah, well, as I mentioned before
There's
this
both.
podcast, I'm a proud New Yorker, but if there's going to be a terrorist attack, if there's a place that is going to happen, Governor's Island, Ellis Island, Statue of Liberty. It's the furthest away from the general populace.
That's true.
It's not like attacking the Empire State Building.
Chris, you may pal, but
Chrysler Building?
if you had the choice of what...
It's Lady Liberty.
Yes, I understand.
You
Can't do that
rebuild.
to her.
You make her taller.
Not the same.
And now
No.
that we know what the American
Don't make her
flag
taller.
looks like, she can just hold a flag. A flag? One of them flags. Instead of a torch. More patriotic.
I'm not saying to give up.
She
and
can be
just let
eating
them
an
blow
armor
her
hot
up
dog.
but if this is going to happen somewhere, you know what? It wouldn't be the end.
I do want to
Terrible
compliment...
thing.
What was that?
You caught my flag thing.
Yeah, wouldn't be the end.
I also want to compliment on the show on one thing. I thought the opening scene in this preview with a duffel bag, I thought it was a very tense moment up until she comes out of the bag. I thought even when she comes out of the bag, it's a tense moment.
You know what?
but
It's not bad. You know what killed it
There's
for me?
a distinct
hey,
tension to that show.
This is your bag?
To that opening round.
No, he didn't say, is this your bag? Do you know whose bag
Oh,
this
you know
is?
his bag. It would have been better if it said, is this your
Right.
bag?
A police officer just stops some black man walking down the street.
And it was a black guy. Not cool,
Stop me
man.
if you've heard this one. And for some reason, the police officer thinks he would know what this bag is doing in the middle of Times Square.
I don't know. I didn't feel like it was extremely accusatory. I just
No.
felt like it was out of place.
But why would you stop
Obviously,
anyone?
he's going to ask someone. Whoever was closest to the bag, he would ask, like, hey,
If-
do you know whose bag this is?
If
Did you
I was
see
the
who
cop-
left it here?
If I was a cop, I would have just yelled really loudly, "Whose bag is this? Claim this bag! Black man, is it you?"
That's why you'll never be a
A
police
cop.
officer.
Hold
My
on, I
one
have to
goal in
Google
life.
to see if I've noticed whose bag this is.
That's right. I do also want to compliment the cast. Is they brought in it's Marianne Batiste, but it's Marianne something Batiste, and her middle name escapes me. From Law and Order, she's very good in Law and Order. She won an Emmy for it. I enjoyed her there.
Good in everything she's in.
Yeah, and she
Isn't
deservedly
she
is
on,
here.
NCIS New Orleans?
I don't think so, but possibly. You might be confusing your black women. Thank you.
No, I don't think so. What's her name?
It's Marianne Jean Batiste.
You want to try and Frenchify that out?
Sorry, Marianne Jean Baptiste E. You happy there? Yeah, Secrets and Lies she was on, actually. Excuse me, she wasn't on one. I'm confusing my black women. Forgive me.
Racist.
She wasn't on Law and Order. She was on Without a Trace. And she was also in Secrets and Lies, the movie, but, very, very good. She was actually nominated for, Best Supporting Actress for Secrets and Lies. I enjoyed her here. I think she's probably the best actress on the show. I think the issue is with the show, it doesn't seem like it has a lot of legs in terms of a story. I think people
No.
get bored with it quickly.
This is a sprint, and the race is going to be over by the 400 meters.
And I felt like Jamie Alexander's performance lacked a sort of mystique.
It was
on
good. It was
Broadchurch.
just, but it was
She
just
was.
okay.
No, she is. This season 2.
Fair
I
enough.
haven't seen season 2 yet.
Me neither. Anyway, so yes, I thought her performance was weak.
Sons of Anarchy.
But-
Oh, she's amazing in Sons of Anarchy.
I
crazy
look
ass
forward
bitch.
probably most to this show out of the bunch.
It's the only one I'd even consider watching.
It's
Plus,
one
I
of the
love me
ones
some
I would
Times
consider
Square.
watching.
I love me some empty Times Square.
That's right.
My thing with it though is I feel like Al said, it's too much like a movie. It feels too much like they're trying to make like an action movie into a TV show. It's just, I feel like I like the concept more than I like the actual upfront itself. Like I don't feel like it was as successful as it should have been.
I'm not laughing at you. I just had a thought, like, maybe for, like, season 4, they'll, like, find some more secrets in her butt crack or something. Like, oh, and, like, between her toes, like, we forgot to check all these places. There are more.
There are invisible tattoos beneath the tattoos.
That's right.
Okay.
I don't think
Or like, in her ear.
I don't think it's gonna make it to that.
No, they won't go up the butt crack, no. Let's go to ratings on this. Chris, what'd you have this at?
I gave it a 2.5, which I think is very, very kind.
It is kind. Not far off from mine, though. I had it at 2.25.
I had a 2.5. I thought it was their best, definitely their best, chance at anything, this dramas.
Yeah, but I feel like that's because they plugged a bunch of money into it.
But it had decent people working on it. I
Mm-hmm.
think with some, if it has good dialogue and interesting
I think
characters.
the dialogue was great.
And I think it'll draw in some viewers, at least early on, with the concept. I just don't know how long that concept will hold viewers.
It all depends. The episode 3 is going to be extremely important. I don't know if I get past episode 1
Right.
on this.
Like I said last week or the week before, if I give something a 2.5 or higher, it's because I want to see more than one episode. And I want to see the first episode of this. I want to see the pilot. But more than that, I can't speak to yet.
Welcome to my life tattoo. I'm a man now, thanks to you. I expect I'll get you, but the skin you up and won't get you. You'll be there when I die. Tattoo.
All right, rolling right along, we head over to Chris's neck of the woods, Chicago. There's a reference for all you
Chicago.
old-time
Chicago.
listeners.
Oh, yes.
Chicago Med.
That's right. If you were sick of the last two Dick Wolf shows, well, get ready for another.
Dick Wolf's Chicago Empire.
That's right. Chris, you don't get to tell us about this one because you already know so much about it, but we will come back to you. Brian, tell us all about this show.
It's another spin-off of the wildly successful Chicago Fire, Chicago PD universe, and apparently we don't have enough Chicago on TV, so
We can never have enough Chicago on TV.
So now they're looking at Chicago Med, which was already this, what do we call it?
A backdoor pilot.
Backdoor pilot was done in April with was it part of both PD and
well, yeah, it
Fire?
included like people from both. I think it was the Chicago Fire episode.
Yeah, which makes the most sense. Obviously,
It's the longest established one. Yeah.
They were. I think there was some kind of like accident, and they were basically transporting a bunch of people in the fire truck to the hospital when which there just happened to be a flu epidemic, and some guy basically decided to turn himself into a bomb, like a biochemical warfare bomb, because he worked at some lab and thought that he had gotten infected with something and had already reached a point where he was going to die.
Right.
So he figured he would just take a bunch of people with him.
That's the worst kind of way to think.
So
he should have done.
They had to shut down the unit.
He should have done what Robbie Amell did on The Flash, like go out into the desolate desert right outside of, or the forest right outside of Central City.
Robbie Amell is back.
Robbie Amell is getting far too much work for my taste. He's going to be on the X-Files.
Yeah,
I heard
he's back.
Oh,
so back to
he's
Chicago
hot
Med.
and young. Why wouldn't he get?
Because he sucks at acting.
He can't act. He's really bad.
Didn't you guys like that other show, the first one he was on?
I liked the show.
Tomorrow People, yeah, but he wasn't that good in it.
He wasn't the best part of it. What was the villain? What's his face? The actor. He was
Pentally, no.
God.
Mark
Damn it.
something.
Mark Pellegrino.
Shepard.
Pellegrino.
Oh, Pellegrino.
Yeah, he was the best
Mark
part of that
Shepard
show.
is also from Supernatural.
Yeah, no, he was definitely the best part of the show.
But back to Chicago Med, we're not talking about an actual preview here because they haven't released one
there's
yet.
None. There's very limited casting, except for some main people that they announced,
Yes.
and we know what this is.
Yaya DaCosta. Do you guys remember her from America's Next Top Model?
No.
No,
Yeah,
but she was
a
runner-up,
contestant
I
on
believe.
America's Next Top Model.
Early on, like season 3
it
or
was
something.
early on.
NBC has found something in this.
She spoke Portuguese because I think
it
she's
is
Brazilian or something.
become their bread and butter.
Yeah.
I think they're finally finding in this what CBS has had for a long time in their procedurals. In this is not. It's kind of a procedural in the sense that it's a self-contained episode. Usually, there are some longer arcs, but what this has, and I've enjoyed watching Chicago Fire, is that the characters are likable for a change in a show. And this is more to Dick Wolf's credit and his hand in kind of shaping this. When you have characters that you kind of enjoy, whether they're shopping or they're fighting fires or they're
Batmaning their way all around.
whatever, yeah.
Kids.
Or doing Zumba.
That's right.
Yeah.
I saw that episode.
Love
That is
that
a memory.
episode.
You don't care what it is. You have this cast of characters, and that's really what it is. The dialogue writes itself almost. The scenarios can be wildly, outlandish. It could be very, almost to the point of boring and monotonous, but it's the love of these characters that get people to watch. And I think because it's been so successful, it's simply just the same archetypes exist.
And if the last 2 years have taught us anything, it's that creating characters that people actually attach to in some meaningful way is the hardest part of a show.
Absolutely. And it's pretty much done.
The
Because
hardest part of anything it has to be written. I
Dick
mean,
Wolf has
book,
shown time and
show.
time again that he is more than capable of doing
He is.
this.
And I'd like to commend Dick Wolf just in looking at both of his two franchises, Law and Order and Chicago, whatever. Chicago. he has written the town. He has they're very different. You know, the Law and Order franchise is really more a week by week story. We talked about this when we reviewed that crossover. And the main focus is the story and the characters interact in the story, as where in the Chicago franchise, the story really helps to build out the characters, where in the Law and Order franchise, it's the opposite.
Right. It was the characters interacting in the story. This one is the story shaping the characters and how they react. I like it. I mean, it's not going to win Emmys for whatever but it's just decent television.
Good cast too. Laurie Holden from The Walking Dead is on it. Oliver Platt from Fargo. He was great on that. Also, he was in, remember the movie Ready to Rumble? The
Yes.
WCW film.
Yes.
He was Jimmy King in that, so they're not all great credits. Yeah, a lot of good casts here. This is the one actually with Epitha Merkerson from Law and Order. So I mixed up my black women. I apologize. Much like Hulk Hogan, I apologize. But unlike Hulk Hogan, I'm not a racist.
Okay.
Just, I want to make that clear. How many times have I said I'm not a racist on this
The
show?
longer you say it, the more often you say it, it kind of loses meaning.
That's true. You should probably
I should yell it.
Yeah.
If I yell it,
I
it'll
think
have
you have
more
been
meaning.
yelling it.
That's just your booming voice.
I do want to mention this though. I have no interest in the show. Like, I could not want to see the show less. I like episodes of Chicago Fire when I get a chance to see them. I don't really seek them out. But if it's on and I watch it, I tend to like them.
This show, if it's on, I'll probably leave it on and watch it. You don't need to be that heavily invested in it. You don't have to watch it every week to week. You can kind of pick up what's happened here and there. That's the kind of television this is.
When I first found out that they were making Chicago Med, my first reaction was to be angry. Because
Flipping tables.
I get angry when networks and producers milk the shit out of a show.
You
or
mean
a franchise.
you mean like Law and Order? What was the fourth one? Oh,
Trial by Jury.
Trial by Jury.
Which they all were.
That the one good thing about that show was that Babe Newirth was on it. Great actress. Now she's on Madam Secretary.
Okay.
Just want to point
So,
that
like
out.
I was saying,
Bitch.
I just really don't like it because I think with each subsequent
Iteration.
I was going to say
Just say iteration.
no. Will not use your word.
Even though it's a good one.
Installment, I
Okay,
guess. Not
mine's
really.
better.
It's not really an installment.
Iteration.
They lose something from the original. It's just not as strong. I feel the same way with the Chicago universe, essentially. I think Chicago Fire is definitely the best. Chicago PD, from where it started, has grown on me immensely. And, you know, you really do grow to love the characters and you become so invested in them that you just keep up with the show. And they do have an amazing way of, like, throwing these ridiculous situations into the show that, I mean, could honestly happen in real life, but you just don't expect. Like, in terms of the Fire and PD, they have cases that are just, like, out of nowhere.
Mm-hmm.
And they just keep everything so exciting.
I will say that, especially the episodes of Fire I've seen, they all have some original aspect to them. All the cases, all the stuff they go on, it captivates the audience.
And there's definitely, like, a strong sense of quality in terms of the production. Like, for Fire, there's, you know, they're constantly setting buildings on fire. It's never like cheap special effect fire. It's always real fire.
No, it looks good.
These real situations.
Any Dick Wolf show really it has good production.
Yeah. Like I said, I'm a little worried that it'll cheapen Chicago Fire, Chicago PD, because
you know there's going to be a lot of crossovers.
I know
Excuse
there's
me.
going to be a ton of crossovers, and I know that they kind of need it to establish Med into this sort of universe and make you see how these characters relate to other characters and like these characters a little more because of those interactions. I will watch it. I will.
You certainly will.
I don't know how much it'll grow on me. I mean, I'm a little tired of this whole police officer, hospital, you know.
I told you the next one is veterinary. There's a lemur in my gas can or something, you know. That's the typical veterinary issues. It's worth saying, though, that
Which is a good crossover, because then Fire would be called, and
Yes.
then PD would be called probably to contain the scene.
And then you call Batman in anyway. So you get the whole gang together. This will be premiering November 10th at 10 o'clock, but then after that it'll move to its normal time slot of 9 o'clock. And that's not the best time slot because you have Scream Queens there, you have Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. there, and that, you know, a really strong iZombie. Also NCIS New Orleans, but really iZombie.
Every time somebody still says Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., I hear Asians of S.H.I.E.L.D.
I'm sure there are some Asians employed at S.H.I.E.L.D. But seriously, it's not the best time slot. They're trying to capitalize on the fact that people will hopefully tune in for both hours, Chicago Med and then Chicago Fire at 10. Whether or not that happens with a lead-in of NCIS, excuse me, of The Voice. Well, it's The Voice, so maybe they do.
They could. I mean, look, it's a successful franchise for them. I think they've done very well. PD's far exceeded what they thought it was probably going to do.
Yeah.
Fire was a win for them. They didn't think it was going to be that good, so.
Terrific. Let's go to ratings on this. Cris, you had Chicago Med as it was at what?
2.5.
2.5. So you're looking forward to this.
Yeah. I
Good.
mean, I already have experience with the franchise, and I know some faces that I'll be seeing, and I saw the backdoor pilot, so I already have a gist of who the characters are.
If you had to rate the backdoor pilot 1 out of 5, what would you rate that?
That was like a 4. It was good.
There you go. So you're looking forward to
I
this.
mean,
Wow.
3.5.
Okay.
Or 3.75.
Oh my
No,
god.
no,
All
it's
these
just-
numbers.
3.75.
Add them
is
up,
my
average
final.
it out. That's what Chris's score is.
3.75.
Which would probably be 3.75. Brian, you had this at
1.75.
1.7. I had this at a 1.5. I mean, we didn't see the backdoor pilot, so we were just reading a description.
Just the description, it's going to be your typical standard whatever show.
Like
you've
I said,
seen.
I think it'll do well, but I really have very little interest in it.
Come on, baby, don't you wanna go? Come on, baby, don't you wanna go? Back to the land of California, to my sweet home, Chicago.
Rolling down the road, we're going to head over to Game of Silence. Something that seldom happens on this podcast unless
We're
we
in
take a
this
20-minute
house.
break. Game of Silence, I'll tell you about this one. It's an adaptation originally from the television series in Turkey whose name I will not pronounce. Just assume it's very hard in Turkish.
Suskunlar.
Yeah.
Let's go with that. That was also adapted from the novel The Sleepers, which
Sleepers.
was also made into a movie. Basically, it focuses around young up-and-coming attorney whose life goes into upheaval when issues from his past start to arise. All in all, really that was the description we read, so there's not much here. I will tell you from reading the synopsis of the actual novel, the issue from his past has to do with him being detained in like a what would you call it, like a youth facility, basically like prison for kids. What do they call those things?
Juvie.
Juvie. In a juvenile detention place, and him and his friends being abused by security guards. So it'll factor into that.
That was a heavy.
It is a drama. It is no 30-minute comedy.
As someone who is a huge fan of the movie,
Mhm.
which if you have not seen, watch. It's super intense, so be forewarned, but it is a fantastic movie, and it's got an amazing cast in it. But I just get nervous when you hear in the description said to be a darker cable-style series.
Right. I mean, those are good, but we've talked about it many times, the issue of doing something like that on a network program.
Yeah, you're limited. I mean, I'm very excited in the fact that the director from The Girl with the Dragon Tattoo, the Swedish movie,
Mhm.
is directing the pilot.
Mhm.
I'm also intrigued in the sense that the subjects or the original work this is based on is actually good already. I'm concerned about how it's going to translate to a 10-episode. Remember, this is a 10-episode order. It's
Yeah,
not
so it's a
mini-
event series,
yeah, event
what they
series.
call it.
How it's going to go from a 2-hour movie, which is 2 and 20 minutes, which is fantastic, to a 10-hour mini event.
Will it live up to the big shoes left by The Slap?
I would say
Can't
already
even-
what it's got going for
Not
it.
with a straight face, I can't say it.
Yes, and the fact that it's being
Yes.
Dave Hudgens is writing it, who wrote Parenthood and Friday Night Lights,
Mhm.
who not necessarily groundbreaking.
The cast
but
is okay. You've got David Lyons from Revolution, which did well on NBC for a while. Michael Raymond James from True Blood and Once Upon a Time also.
I think it's got a lot of stuff going for it.
And I tend to like warrior procedurals.
I think this has the idea that, here he is looking back on trying to, he's passed the bar most likely, and that's probably the way it's going to be set up. He passed the bar and he's got this deep, dark secret, that he's got to kind of take care of.
Right, and as a warrior, he'll
and knowing the movie, I'm actually intrigued. It reminds me a little bit. I mean, I just hope it doesn't go the way of the Black Donnellys, where that was a good show.
Oh, God.
That was a good show, but they didn't give it a chance. And simply because, again, for kids that grew up together, different points in their life, that one focused more on the happening then. This one has the advantage of the flashback because they're adults and they're looking back at their childhood. That, even though it gives them an advantage for storytelling, is also detrimental in the way that if it's not done in an original way or not done at least in an interesting way to the story, is just taxing. And it's like, okay, here's another flashback.
And I think an event series is the perfect thing to do with this because anything more would just be stretching it.
Yeah, Under the Dome was an event series too. But
Originally, yeah. So was
here we are.
Aquarius. Aquarius is supposed to be an event series, and then
here we are.
Broadchurch was supposed to be a miniseries.
Yep. Like I said, I like the general. I tend to like law procedurals, and I think it's a good, satisfying concept for an event series. Cris, anything to add?
It was just too vague, the description.
Yeah. Do you like lawyers in general?
I like law procedurals, but
wait. What if I told you it was a young attorney?
That's right.
And it takes place in Atlanta.
It does
I
take
read
place
that as
there.
well. No,
what,
that was part of.
Would you like me to read you the NBC description verbatim?
No, I
Deal,
would not.
I'll do it
because I already have my rating.
Okay. What's your rating?
I thought it was too vague. I thought that. Well, I always bet low when it comes to shows being adapted from other countries because they're never adapted as well as the original.
But it's an American movie.
But the show was adapted from a Turkish series.
Yeah, I know, but they have the American movie as reference material also. Kevin Bacon, man, Footloose.
Also, Game of Silence isn't the best title.
No, it's a terrible title. I think it's going to lose because of that. That's
too many Game of shows.
Yeah.
That's right. I'm trying to capitalize on that. If like you're flipping through NBC and you just see like Game of in your TV guide or your guide, wow. I'll watch this.
New Game of Thrones? Done. Ah, crap.
There's a distinct lack of dragons in this and nipples.
There'll be nipple.
I gave it a 1.
You gave it a 1.
Yes.
Wow.
I had
harsh.
this not much higher.
It's too vague. I can't rate something that's not there.
I had this at a 1.25.
Purely on speculation, 2.25.
I will now, as Cris has asked me to do, read the NBC description of Game of Silence verbatim. The executive producer of CSI presents a gripping new drama about a successful Atlanta attorney, David Lyons from Revolution, whose long-lost childhood friends unexpectedly reappear after 25 years. When a dark secret they thought they'd buried resurfaces, the Brotherhood bands together to right the wrongs of their shared past. A journey that will push the limits of their loyalty and quench their thirst for revenge.
What was that about?
That's all about Game of Silence. I like the slide I went into Batman on. It's just like more emphatic. Chainsmoker.
You're no Hank Voight.
There you go. Does that make you any more interested in it, Cris?
No.
Actually, I'm less interested. Can I change it to 2?
You can. What'd you have this at?
2.25.
I had this at a 1.25.
No, I keep.
You did like the movie, and I've never seen
fantastic.
the film.
Trust me.
Fair enough.
Here.
I think the best part of that whole thing.
Yeah, but look at movies that have been turned into TV shows and how successful or how good they've been.
Oh no, it's going to be terrible. But I'm speculating.
Big Fat Greek Life.
That was not an adaptation of the movie. That was just a continuation.
About a Boy.
About a Boy.
I thought it did well.
It was
good for what it did. I mean, it's going to be.
What are some more?
Fargo
was fantastic.
Fargo was great.
They're doing it too often now.
Well, whatever. We're running out of ideas.
That's right.
Come with the original ideas.
Come on, Cris. They had already wrote.
Rip off some more books. Come on.
Speaking of original ideas, our next show, Heartbreaker.
We'll get there. To be fair, I think the best part of Game of Silence was my reading of it.
No.
But
No.
on to Heartbreaker, the crown jewel of NBC's drama.
Happening your voice.
I'm wondering, is it the crown jewel? I couldn't even say that straightly. Cris, you get to tell us all about Melissa George's romp, her romp through the world of medicine.
My God.
Okay, so Melissa George plays a cardiologist, a cardiac surgeon, I guess.
Heart transplant surgeon.
Okay, who
One of few in the country.
is kick-ass and a woman, and
Hence, she's a kick-ass woman.
kind of knows it, and has this thing where she plays by her own rules.
This
Save
thing,
the lives that need to be
this
saved.
thing that literally every protagonist on a medical drama has.
But of course, because she's a woman, she has to have all these little love triangles going on.
That's right.
Because she can't just be a kick-ass doctor.
Get
She
her-
has to have a relationship with some other doctor and
Get
have
her
a
black
mentor
box
who
going.
kind of likes her. And of course, yeah, I think that is a dead-on synopsis.
It's also based on the life of Dr. Kathy Magliato, as described in her book, Heart Matters. Heart Matters is also the original title
Yes.
for the show, Heartbreaker. I think Heart Matters is actually a better title. Cause it's like matters of the heart, but also your heart matters when I operate on it.
Yeah, I think Heartbreaker sounds more like all she does is date around and break hearts. And oh look, she also operates on them.
My first note here says, fuck, it's D.L. Hughley.
Yeah.
D.L. Hughley is in this, and fuck, D.L. Hughley still has jobs. I didn't enjoy him
Jamie Kennedy.
much on the Hughleys. I didn't enjoy him much since. I don't look forward to seeing him. Melissa George, her performance in this is incredibly dull. I mean, when she's trying to sound like intimidating or sarcastic, like in the opening when she's like, oh, I love walks on the beach, puppy dogs, and the sound of cracking open my patient's chest. It's like,
She's no Dr. House.
you sound like you're falling asleep.
Hello, I'm Dr. Pantier. Been at St. Matthew's for 5 years. I'm a cardiothoracic surgeon.
A heart surgeon?
Yes.
What does someone like you love to do in her spare time?
I like long walks on the beach, hot bubble baths, and the sound of cracking a patient's chest open like a lobster.
Put some goddamn emphasis
Well, 'cause
in your voice. My voice has plenty of emphasis.
She seemed extremely nervous at first when she was talking to them, to the point where I thought that she was like a newbie and like didn't know what she was doing and felt that like was like legitimately a resident. Like I thought that she was an intern or something because she was so nervous and flustered talking to the guys. And then when one of them kind of like starts flirting with her, that's when she tries to kick up the sass. But really it was just a really odd delivery, which I feel like was the case for a lot of it.
Oh yeah. The one part towards the end where I think she's sitting in a chair and she's like banging on a window saying she wants the heart or something. Yeah. Still, for somebody who's supposed to be so intense and so excited at that moment, really lacking any passion.
Or angry or something. Just some kind of emotion.
Just bland.
I feel like there's a lot of just reading.
For the leading heart transplant surgeon,
yeah,
it was just almost
no passion.
No, it was almost
she gave
comical
more emotion
to a point.
in the slap.
Okay.
Oh, that drunken mess in the slap, yeah.
Which slap?
The slap. The
show.
show. The slap.
Oh, excuse me.
She was the mother on
No,
the slap.
I thought you meant...
I've had 2 beers. I cannot...
I am forgetful. I thought you meant when she walked by a nurse and slapped her hand with a high five straight out of 1994. Actually,
I would have said 80s.
Fucking
That was like
part of the show.
That was like an 80s movie.
my note here says 1994 called, and it said that 1987 wants its high five back.
It wasn't a high five.
Yeah, it was a double. It was a one and then the other one.
It was perfect.
It was high, down low.
Wonderfully executed.
It was what every babyface tag
How
team in
many
the
times do you
80s
think they practiced?
high five.
How many times did they take that?
Oh,
No, they were in their, I was going to say dressing rooms, but that's a little too high. Tents.
in their dressing tents.
They were doing like 17 surgeries at once.
It's
right?
like it's like that episode of the Gilmore Girls that we had to watch, where like they go on this really elitist excursion. And they all have these tents.
Oh, freaking love it.
That's where Melissa George in the gang dress.
So my first thought was that this is like someone wanted to shoot for Grey's Anatomy, but hit Night Shift.
Yes, distinct feel of Night Shift in this.
And here's what's even sadder than that.
What?
The creator is the one that made The Wonder Years.
Yes.
And My So-Called Life.
Yes.
2 successful series.
Wonderfully successful.
From decades ago.
This actually proves that sometimes the third time is not the charm.
Decades. It feels like decades since this person has written a show. Because this is done to death.
I want to say the story of this trailer, or part of the story, and the story likely of the pilot, with the brother committing suicide so that his sister could have his heart. I thought that was a really interesting, fresh, original idea.
Super compelling.
But by the end of the trailer, this story really descends into the classically boring story of administrators versus doctors, and doctors wanting to go above and beyond, and the administrators holding them back because it does, the board will yell at you.
Fuck you, man.
Emily Owens, MD, was better than this.
Wow.
Literally, like, the last...
That's offensive to the show.
The last 10 medical dramas.
I would go watch Emily Owens. I would go binge watch it on Netflix. The whole thing.
Did you like the romance?
Rather than watch this one episode.
Like the romance of Emily Owens more than the romance here.
Emily Owens was at least awkward in like the most weird, sometimes endearing way, where it's some kind of character trait. It's not this like, I do what I want. You can put in Cartman saying that, sort of
if you wish.
Thing.
Sure, that's what you want.
That's just, it's played to death.
Mary, I am out of control. Yeah, I use drugs. I can do what I want, bitch. Yeah, I have sex and I don't use protection. It's my hot body. I'll do what I want. I don't go to school and I kill people. Whatever. I'll do what I want.
If you saw the picture, I keep staring at it. Isn't that an attempt to grab? It's just a Grey's Anatomy.
It's trying to look like Meredith.
Yeah.
Right.
And what's his name? The other one of the.
Oh yeah, he's definitely.
He looks like him.
He's definitely trying to work that McDreamy because he's got the little like gray.
I didn't want to embarrass myself by saying the wrong one.
You knew it.
No, I didn't.
Oh,
Steamy has more gray.
No,
he's blondish.
It should be said Dave Annabelle.
He's from Brothers and Sisters.
He is. Dave Annabelle plays the romance.
His wife
the romantic
is Odette.
interest here.
Oh, yeah.
He was also on one of Chris's favorites, 666 Park Avenue.
Oh,
and
I never ever watched it.
Trash.
Not one episode.
Bullshit. That's Al's favorite.
Quiet, no, Chris. She's a loser. And he was also on Red Band Society for a while.
What was that?
Red Band Society.
I'm sorry.
My favorite
What show?
He was on something else.
How long did it last? It didn't make the whole season.
I
think it got canceled.
It got canceled, but it had enough episodes.
No, but did it show all the episodes?
Maybe.
Ugh,
I think it might have gotten to the end.
Damn, what else was he on? He was on something else.
I'm not going to read through.
Jamie
Kennedy is on this, which is a crying shame.
He's not too bad.
I wonder if he's still experimenting. Just on like the side.
Just cut that out.
Why? Did Jamie Kennedy... First of all, no one under the age of 25 besides me will get that joke. If you watch the WB in the late 90s, early 2000s, you know exactly what I'm talking about. I will...
didn't hear you. He was on Reunion, which I know I watched.
I will give kudos to whoever picked the outfits for the show, because at one point Melissa George is wearing a lovely green dress. She looked great.
I hated that dress.
I thought she looked terrific.
It was, okay, first of all, it looked like something a villainess would wear. Not
Great.
anything that the lead would wear. And the weird, like, shoulder cutoffs with those earrings, the combination, it was really overdone.
As I did
it was
with...
too much.
I liked it. Brian, your thoughts on
I
the
did
dress?
I did like the leather jacket that she had over herself when she was pounding on the glass about the heart.
Very, it's probably the same leather jacket that What's-Her-Face wears in State of Affairs. It's like, that didn't last long enough.
Yes.
No.
Boom.
This was like a more, like a burgundy, like rocker textured, jacket.
The best part of the show. Is the jacket.
Legitimately.
As I did with, Game of Silence, I want to read the NBC description
God.
verbatim.
Time for this.
Hold on. It's like 3 sentences. An outspoken, I'm going to start from beyond the obvious stuff. An outspoken, world-renowned heart transplant surgeon, one of the few women in her field, stubborn and fearless, Alex always operates on her own terms. She revels in a racy personal life that's a full-time job in itself, manages the daily demands of skeptical faculty and dutiful interns, and pushes boundaries of medical science to impressive new heights. Is this a description for one of your books, Cris?
No, they're much better written than that.
It doesn't sound far off,
That
though.
is an extreme insult.
The phrase revels in a racy personal life set off some alarm signals
We wouldn't
here.
say that.
I don't know.
No one in romance would say that.
They wouldn't use the word racy? Tawdry, perhaps?
Then no. Why would you say it's tawdry?
Maybe tantric.
Bang, bang,
No.
bang? They just use
They would say probably passionate or some kind of fire word.
Okay, fire word. Well, let's see how passionate or fire word you were about Heartbreaker. Brian, your rating on this?
Oh, solid 1.
Solid 1. Cris?
0.5.
I was right in the middle of you guys, 0.75.
Only reason I gave it a 1 was because
That leather jacket, though.
Bam.
it's hard to rate a show.
On point. As I said before, the camera was not pointed at the floor.
The cameras are facing the right way. It was edited well. The pickup basketball game, even though that was clearly a foul, she sunk the jumper.
Just for reference,
Yeah.
Heart Matters was written in 2011.
Okay.
I was thinking maybe it was written in
1984. God. Don't look forward to this, folks. This is premiering in the mid-season, as I said, because of Melissa George's pregnancy.
This is definitely a show that shows its age. I think the fact that Cris just mentioned it was written in 2011 indicates that it is far old now for television, and they probably, if it wasn't picked up then, probably shouldn't have been picked up at all.
You're a heartbreaker, dream maker, love taker, don't you mess around with me. You're a heartbreaker, dream maker, love taker, don't you mess around. No.
Hey, guys.
Yes.
You excited?
No.
Well, you should be, because it's Wesley Snipes' big return to television.
You can keep him.
He's been gone for nearly 12 years. He was on the last episode of something he was on, the Bernie Mac show. It's on an episode of the Bernie Mac show in like 2003 or so. But Wesley Snipes is making his return in an NBC drama, go figure. And Brian has the wonderful task of describing this in words. Words can hardly describe the player. Brian, take it away.
I don't even know where to start with this. So, you have this super, this skilled special ops agent that is the guy you hired to test how great your security is. And he starts off and he's able to get to the president of whatever country it was.
Random Middle Eastern country.
And they say, well, we have better security. We have better security in the United States. And the comment was, well, there were 6 presidents assassinated or something like that.
No, he said, our security is better than that of the president. It's like, I've killed 6 presidents, likely not of the United States, or else he'd probably be in jail.
Well, whatever it was, I didn't really care because that's where I kind of lost interest in this whole thing.
6. If it was 5, that's fine. But
so
6
naturally his skills get tested and his wife or girlfriend gets killed by an assassin. This assassin is now apparently...
Which really bothered me for some reason.
With that she dies?
Yeah.
Like you were affected emotionally?
Yeah,
no, it's the Bambi effect.
I understand the use of it.
I understand the Bambi effect, Brian.
It's just I don't like it.
I didn't
now
say I liked it either.
Now, hold on. Did you not like the use of it as a storytelling mechanism, or did you not like in the story?
It made me sad.
That's it.
But I also don't like the use of it.
Why not?
Because I feel like it's used too often.
That's
it's
fair.
Another thing where it's like, the male character obviously has to lose the love of his life because otherwise
he can't be free to bang anybody else.
They're trying to create an emotional attachment.
It's like fucking James Bond. Like
this is trying to be.
He can never have any emotional attachments because anytime he does, that person dies.
But Brian, where does Wesley Snipes come in?
Oh God! So then you find out that not only was this whole thing a setup, he's part of a game.
Yeah.
And it's part of a seedy underground game where they actually bet on who's going to be able to kill who in a almost like spy versus spy type. You got player A versus player B, and they're both top of their game, and who's going to win?
That's right.
And
this character played by Philip Winchester, he becomes the player, and basically it's his job to stop crimes, very interesting crimes, possibly that you'd want to watch on TV. Go figure. And what happens is Wesley Snipes runs this organization in Las Vegas of all places, go figure, that he sets up bets, and rich people bet on whether or not he'll be able to succeed in stopping the crime.
Right. Somebody handicaps the thing, so they must come up with odds somehow.
The character Alex Kane, there's a lot of Alexes on NBC's docket this year, but he's also, what he doesn't realize is that one of the people working in this organization was the person that let the murderer of his wife get away, because she hit him with a car.
Her car.
Might have been somebody else's car.
Yes, a rented car.
Cris, what did you think of this show? Tell us all about your thoughts on Wesley Snipes and the player.
I did not like it.
Don't player hate here, Cris.
Okay,
Just
first of all, most
that.
definitely, there will be a poster with a tagline that says, "Don't hate the player, hate the game."
Yep.
That is possibly the greatest thing I've heard in a while. I think I will watch the show solely because of that poster.
And if NBC uses that,
throw a couple of pennies our
Where
way.
am I right set?
Our way, not just Chris's, because
it's just a trio.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Chris only thought of that because I said, don't player hate.
No, I was actually saving it for when you shut up.
What?
So.
You should have said it on your own.
Man, you'd be waiting a long fucking time.
I have.
Chris, go ahead. What do you think of the player?
It made me physically upset to watch this trailer.
My body was convulsing.
It really was bad.
Seriously, it did. It was just, I'm so tired of seeing the same crap like this. It's like, let's turn like a Transporter style movie into a TV show, because that's where that works. No, it works in a movie. It works in, a short, precise storyline, not in this like drawn out, random
week by week.
It's just over the top. It's too much. It was so hard to follow because there was just so much going on, and now we're gambling on crimes, and I am the what was he?
The pit boss.
Yeah. This is fucking ridiculous.
Yeah. His Wesley Snipes' name, Mr. Johnson. I thought he was probably not the best. I thought Philip Winchester was good in the role of the player, but I thought Wesley Snipes is good also in the role of the pit boss. It's a simple role. It's a role that we've seen many times where he's the smart leader of the organization, the mastermind, if you will, holds all the cards if you want to continue the Blade. the zombie. Not the zombie, excuse me, the vampire. But I thought
the self-hating vampire.
I thought he did the role well.
Mr. Kane, my name is Mr. Johnson. This is the house where the probabilities of criminal activity are determined. There are always 3 members of the house. Cassandra is the dealer, and I am the pit boss. Will you be our player?
Why show me this? Why tell me this?
Crime, Mr. Kane. We gamble on crime.
Thomas Edriborli, professional kidnapper out of Istanbul.
Our group would like you to stop this kidnapping. Do what you wish with the man who killed your wife. One man and his resources set against the worst humanity has to offer.
Imagine what good you could do.
Ladies and gentlemen, place your bets.
The thing is, there's one scene here where it's a quick cut, but we see him eventually, and probably in the pilot, beating up Alex Kane, the player. The guy who we're supposed to believe is this big, intimidating hero, for lack of a better phrase, that's going to stop all these bad guys. And Wesley Snipes just takes him down. What the hell?
He's Blade.
Not here. He's supposed to be a rich, eccentric gambler here.
Once you're Blade, you're always Blade.
It's a stupid thing to do, especially in the pilot, because you're trying to make people care about this character, and by making him look weak as shit, by showing this eccentric billionaire probably beating him up.
Everybody roots for the underdog.
But he's not an underdog.
Well, he is in that case, because literally under Wesley Snipes.
Yes, and he shouldn't be. He should be the big hero guy who you want to see defeat all the bad D's, all the baddies.
It's too much.
Well, who's the biggest baddie? it's going to be his arch nemesis.
But the thing is, he doesn't know that Wesley Snipes is behind the murder of his wife.
But you know he is. You know he is.
We know he is because
it's
what's-her-face
obvious
hits the guy.
Endgame. It's obvious.
I agree with you also, but I think it's a better concept for a film than a movie. Yeah.
It kind of feels reminiscent. It's not like it, but it's kind of reminiscent of...
You're going to say The Pest?
No. I was going to say... Oh God, The Pest. Christ. I was going to say... Scorpion? Or Scorpio? What is it?
Scorpion on CBS.
Yes.
Yeah.
Just in terms of, there's a crime, we need to stop it. But honestly, and I guess because they put a lot of money into both, but honestly, this looks like they put more work into it.
Mm-hmm. And it should be said, NBC's production across its dramas looks pretty good. No one's knocking the actual directorial nature of these shows. The concepts, they're really lacking,
It's an interesting concept. It's just too much visually.
The story
it's
like
eye harassment.
weird.
Like, stop making all these things come at me. I can't handle them all at once. And...
I was going to make an Apple joke, but I won't.
Eye harassment?
Yeah.
Nailed
it. Yeah. The concept is okay. I would maybe watch this movie, but I will not watch the show likely. This premieres in September 24th, I believe. And that, dear friends, that's a Thursday. Thursday at 10, in fact, and its competition is not the worst. You have Chicago PD, and you also have Nashville. So there is... Nicely done. Yeah. So there is a chance for success, and this can build a market share because it doesn't really have a strong a competition.
It won't, though.
I think it'll be successful like Scorpion was successful.
No.
Incredibly successful?
No, it won't be as successful.
No, it will not.
How's
Scorpion gets like 12 million viewers.
Yeah, it's actually one of their best shows now.
Yeah.
Ridiculous.
It's not good, but it's, money-wise, it brings in the dollar bills, y'all.
No.
That's what happens when I'll drink 2 beers. Yeah. So, all in all, not the worst, but certainly not too much to look forward to.
Wait until you see Chris's rating.
Let's go to Chris's rating right now. Chris.
1.
1?
I was just above you at 1.25.
1.5.
I was the Wesley Snipes to your, Philip Winchester.
1.5.
1.5. Interesting. Brian, we didn't really get your opinion on this. What do you think of this?
I thought it was mundane, and because it was just so over the top to the point of this isn't happening. The fact that there's this game going on that nobody knows about.
I thought you liked this one.
No.
I thought you said you liked it.
I joked with Al that it was the best one. And
it's really not.
This is tripe.
We all know that it's Heartbreaker.
I think he just he quote unquote joked because he saw the way the tides were turning.
No. I like the next show a little bit better.
Also, it should be said, this whole
I almost spit out my beer.
This whole dead wife storyline kind of gets lost.
It bothers me.
Nothing. That's the problem.
I know it bothers you, but it really. I assume
also,
it'll be
the girl he's trying to save looks like his wife.
Go figure.
Maybe it is his wife.
It's a test,
or her twin.
It's
or a hologram.
Not good.
Save this hologram. If they unplug it, you lose.
It's been done.
No, but honestly, I think that.
I mean, obviously, not the whole betting on crimes.
Not often.
Secret underworld thing.
But it's still been done. Like I said,
I don't see longevity for this show.
The wife storyline is lost in this preview. Maybe it's covered more in the actual pilot, and probably will be in the series, but by the time you're at the 3-minute mark, it's like, oh, right, his wife was murdered.
No, but that's the way it is. That's the way it always is in
it will
like
be,
this.
Yeah.
It's that chip that's on his shoulder for about 5 minutes, and then he's out banging it.
We are definitely going out of this segment on Too Cool's theme song. Yes.
Turn it up.
That was interesting.
Turn it up. Turn it up.
All right. Last but probably not least, it could easily be least.
It's my most anticipated show. Most anticipated show of the pilot season.
Shades of Blue from the wonderful people over at NBC. Brian, you get to tell us all about this one because you're so goddamn excited about it.
Oh, it's terrible. It's another police drama.
Yeah.
It's another female centric one, which isn't a bad thing, but
a lot of them on NBC.
Again, we're seeing another Mysteries of Laura type. This is much grittier, though. This is supposed to be dramatic.
It's a proper drama,
as opposed to Mysteries of Laura, which is some weird dramedy type. Didn't know what it wanted to be. Stars Jennifer Lopez as a undercover FBI investigator who is a single mother.
Mm-hmm.
Very good cast in the fact that Ray Liotta's on, Drea De Matteo's on. There's also Vincent Laresca from 24 and Deyo Okeni from Hunger Games. It's a 13-episode order. It was ordered over a year ago.
Yeah.
They did not shoot a pilot, but they are going to... it is going in a mid-season replacement.
That makes me worry because if they ordered it so long ago, it's going into the mid-season. They probably don't have much faith in it.
Here's why.
Jill's got a life.
Yes, I was going to say, I think more realistic than not is the fact that they could not get Jennifer Lopez committed to start filming until American Idol ended. Now, essentially, American Idol ended and or in between, or she knows it's ending, so she doesn't have to worry about whatever. This could be a wild card for them.
Yeah.
In that it can capitalize on their Chicago PD, that kind of procedural, more dramatic show than, let's say, Mysteries of Laura.
Mm-hmm.
A good 10 o'clock show, if it's gritty enough. And I think Ray Liotta brings some legitimacy to that. Drea De Matteo is also a very good actress. They could both bring legitimacy to that. A very good 10 o'clock show.
It's a good, even Jennifer Lawrence, listen to me. Even Jennifer Lopez, she's succeeded in some dramas, Enough was a good movie.
Enough was a good movie, but I think the supporting cast is very important in this because that's what's going to make the show. It's not going to be about the main character because you need to love her or hate her, depending on how they approach it and how they write it, the dialogue, how she delivers it. But I think the supporting cast is going to be important to kind of flesh out that story.
Right.
And it was filmed in College Point, so...
It's interesting because, the show basically focuses on Jennifer Lopez's character inside of this police department and trying to uncover corruption.
Right, and which has been done.
Right.
But at the same time, if it's done correctly, there's always an enjoyable aspect of procedurals. And if Blue Bloods has taught us anything, there is room for that kind of show. It might not be my type of show, but there's an audience there. And NBC desperately needs something.
And I think it's important that
to fill that time slot.
By establishing that story, you put her in some sort of, not really danger, but you make her...
You do put her in danger.
You put her in some sort of... Let's go with danger. You put her in some sort of danger. Peril, if you will.
Oh my God.
And much like in Enough, it seems like she really has to be in peril as a character to succeed in dramas. Her best acting is when she's in peril. We saw the preview for that movie where the kid she sleeps with is trying to kill her.
The boy
aces.
Next door or whatever it was.
All aces. Maybe film of the year. But I think that's a solid thing to do because if she was
your mom's cookies.
If she was just a regular police detective, it would not be nearly as interesting.
No,
having her fight this bigger organization in this crime syndicate that's developing in the police department is a smart strategy. I do worry though, because we all know her love doesn't cost a thing, but is this show just as valuable? Is it valueless?
You mean priceless?
No, I don't mean priceless.
Hold on.
I mean it's worth nothing. Brian's excited about it, Cris.
Only because I really do think it's almost their low expectations for it, that if it delivers at all, will be successful.
I question if they really do need another police procedural with a female lead. I mean, Chicago PD is out there, SVU is out there, hopefully this replaces
Mysteries of War.
Mysteries of War in some sort of trifecta, because this is actually a drama instead of a outright terrible show. But they have a lot of them, and they are really, I will commend them for giving women strong placements on their shows, but we get it. Women can be police detectives also.
If you want some badass police women, you already have them on NBC. You don't need to keep looking. And if you want some dirty cops, you've already got them on NBC. You don't need to keep looking.
But they're not Jennifer Lopez and Ray Liotta and
and I think
DiMatteo.
that is a plus, because
it could be. I mean, they're just trying to capitalize on something they haven't had in a while. They haven't had that star-studded show, right? Where they really had, they had Katherine Heigl, but that was it. This is J-Lo.
When Shonda doesn't like you anymore.
She does have this draw to her. One last thing. As a police drama, it's mainly going to be, week to week crimes. I really hope that they do a strong job initially and throughout the series of building out her character and giving her a rounded character, because if not, and if it sinks into the traditional Law and Order style procedural, Jennifer Lopez is going to sink like a stone.
Oh, without a doubt.
She needs a character that you're focused on and that you're interested in and that you know a lot about to succeed. That's why Enough was as good as it was.
And I'm telling you, that's why the supporting cast is even more important.
She said, Drea DiMatteo, she was recently engaged to the bassist from Whitesnake.
How nice for her.
Yes, Mr. Michael Devon. So congratulations to them. Also, congratulations to us, because we finished this list. All we have to do now, give our ratings on, what is the show called? Shades of Blue.
2.5.
2.5 for Brayan. Far exceeding my rating of 1. Cris.
0.5. Yeah.
Well, it's a solid, terrible rating.
Well, I didn't really say, but I'm tired of I said it before, the hospital, police, FBI trifecta.
Well,
get something else.
They're going to at least get 2 watches from me. If not, the pilot does not include College Point.
It's going to be episode 7, and you're going to have to watch.
If the pilot doesn't include College Point, I will watch the episode that includes College Point. So look at least 2 episodes.
That makes me very sad.
That's right. Brayan.
I've seen College Point. I don't need.
I just like to see what
J-Lo's
they do with
eyes.
it. Is it going to be 1 second? Is it going to be?
Did you get
2
it?
minutes?
That's a J-Lo reference.
Yeah, it is a J-Lo
I
reference.
don't actually get the reference.
She had a movie called Angel Eyes.
There is one
Probably terrible.
holdover from last season
There
that
is.
we did discuss ad nauseum. Heroes Reborn is definitely happening. It is happening this fall, Thursdays at 8:00. It is looking to capitalize on the, let's call it the reminiscence or the nostalgia factor, which is kind of ridiculous to
Remember
consider.
when NBC
something
actually had good shows?
And to capitalize on the superhero
2000s.
phenomena
No, but the 90s
that's
was a good show.
been rampant in most TV and actually pretty much every
Why
movie.
come up with a new idea when we have one that we canceled
All of-
several years back?
You know what?
All of Greg Berlanti's success.
I
Superhero
saw
novels.
the preview.
Yeah.
I was actually more interested watching the preview than I was thinking about the concept.
Mhm.
The idea intrigues me in that you are not losing the universe that they created. My problem with the show, and the reason I stopped watching it actually towards the beginning of the 3rd season, was the fact that nothing happened. The characters that were successful and helped build the show to what it became
We're all killed.
were all killed, and it was more about the story than the characters.
Long before Game of Thrones, Heroes made a point of killing off all its best characters.
And in a subtle irony, NBC then killed the show.
Yes.
Very good. Those are the dramas there, folks. Look forward to some of them. Likely not most of them, though, because, it's a mixed bag for NBC, certainly. I think the strongest one of the bunch was the first one we talked about with BlindSpot. But we'll be back next week for our 4th to last show. Yes, that's how that works. And we'll be covering NBC's comedies. So if you thought these dramas were depressing, get ready for what NBC thinks is funny. But until then, it's time to ask.
We're such a positive bunch.
Aren't we? It's like.
Get ready for a suckfest.
Mutual Admiration Society.
We've gone through the machine and we've been tortured by some of these upfronts.
So, we're like, what's his name from Fahrenheit 451? We're so sick of it all. We're just gonna end the whole podcast. Anyway, questions now. Questions. I've got questions. I need answers. Cris,
Yes.
CrisConkers.com is where people can see you. Not see. Well, they can see a photo of you.
There's no live webcam. It's not.
No,
like
it's not one of those.
Website.
She's not making that much money here, folks. Cris Conkers, tell us about your latest post.
My latest post was a release day review of The Highlander Takes a Bride.
Wonderful. Thumbs up, thumbs down on it?
Thumbs up.
There you go,
it's
folks.
Lindsay Sands. I love me some Lindsay Sands.
If you like Scots.
Yes.
And
historical Scots.
And brides. And the sex between them.
Yes.
You can read Chris's review. Probably a wonderful review because she's a talented
Ryan's over
writer.
there with his eyes popping out. Yes. I review romance novels which have a good deal of sex.
No, it's the way that
and the sex between them.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, it's
a Scot and his bride, but she's Scottish too. So
it's a fun little demeanor I got here. You can read Chris's likely wonderful review because she's a talented writer, as I said. At CrisConkers.com, CRISCR. No, it's not Cronkers. This is what happens when you give me 2.5 years. That's CRISCONQUERS.com. That's also where you can find her on Instagram and Twitter. Brayan. B911B.com, B911B photo on Instagram, blowing up the world. It's like domestic terrorism. It's killing everybomes minds because they can't. They're blown.
Blowing it up. But...
blowing minds over at B911B.com. Brayan, what was the latest post on?
Times Square.
Times Square.
Yeah.
Was there a duffel lying around?
Empty.
No, it was far from empty. It was just crowded with people.
That's a lot of folks.
That's usually how Times Square is.
Usually, the Cris says she's seen
I
it
went
empty.
a couple times last week, and it was god awful. That's where the convention was, or the conference. It was.
Oh, yeah, it's crawling with tourists. I mean, what can you expect?
Oh, it's terrible.
But if you want to see photos of all those tourists with their cameras, taken by a man with a camera.
Mostly New York City centric, although I'm going to start. I usually put in some of my travel stuff, although I'm going to do some more of that. I took some actually pretty awesome shots in Boston.
Mm-hmm.
And that's a very cool city. And I seem to take vacation every time they have a meetup here in the city. So I just missed Global Meetup, which was yesterday. Sunday. They did have the meetup in Boston, but I was traveling with family. Super rude of me to just say,
to
hey,
abandon your son.
I'm gonna go meet
wife.
some people.
Dana, could you just watch the baby for 7 hours while I go take photos? Thanks. Your revenge. Again.
Happy anniversary.
Happy anniversary.
Yeah.
Did you buy yourself that gift? Great. Goodbye.
We don't give each other gifts.
No?
Even better.
You guys don't give each other gifts. And I've always thought that was weird. Even Christmas, you guys don't give each other gifts.
Nope, just a card.
Odd. But as long as you write something loving on the card,
it's
that's
a
really
card,
nice.
and you know.
Dana, satisfactory work in the last year.
That's too much. He just puts a G for
We
good.
just felt
Used to get like
a plus
school.
sign.
we just felt that there's certain things worth spending money on, and instead of buying each other a gift that they may or may not like, we'll just either put the money towards a trip, maybe we'll go out to dinner.
It's the thought that counts.
Yeah, crotchless panties go a long way, Brian. And when Dana gets them
They
for you,
say a
you'll
lot.
love them.
They do.
Once again, all of the places that you can see Brian's wonderful photos, terrific photos, excellent photos, all the superlatives. B911B.com, B911B22 on Twitter, B911B photo on Instagram. Follow him there.
Mostly on Instagram. I don't think I've updated actually the website in a while.
But follow him there. That's where to get him. I'm the Alex Adeluju on Twitter. You put the little A with the curl, the @ symbol.
Waiting for an editorial to blow up the world.
That's
not in
a terroristic.
No.
We said terrorist more on this show than in the last 98.
terroristic.
Well, it's a derivative. Speaking of derivatives, Cris. Ow is a derivative of Cris, I guess. I'm Cris. I don't know.
No, I meant your derivative.
I am. Cris, if someone wants to tell me why I'm derivative of you and why you're world better, how can they do that?
They can tweet us on Twitter at @antenna_heads. They can also go and listen to some of our episodes on our website, browcast.com. That's Browcast. You'll notice there's no C.
You will know. There's no H.
Well, there's the C because it's cast.
Yeah, dummy.
But there's no.
Who can't spell now? Cris Cronkers.
There's no Cris in there.
No.
It's Prowl.
No, but to be fair, your initials are represented in the CA of cast.
That's true.
See?
I snuck in there somehow.
That's right.
And then the ST for Steph. Because she
Stephanie
has nothing to
Tanner
do with this.
from Full House. Yeah.
Oh, yes. So you listen to our old episodes, new episodes, future episodes, the next 4, on broadcast.com. You can also listen to us on SoundCloud, TuneIn, Stitcher, iTunes, and on YouTube. And you can give us a thumbs up on YouTube. You can subscribe. I don't know why you would, because we're dying, but you can.
To get the final 4 episodes.
Yeah, to see the dying seal or giraffe.
And you can rate us in all those places, because if you rate us enough, maybe you'll save the show.
Yes.
Probably
or,
not.
To be fair, if one of you had rated us in the last 2 years,
then maybe the show would not be dead.
we're just blaming you guys. Honestly, it's
God
mostly
damn
us.
it.
Why haven't you done more for us, audience?
You guys, you suck, but we love you. Because usually you're probably just family, so we have to love you.
Bill.
And with that, thank you, Cris. There's but one thing left to do, and Brian's going to take care of it for all of us. Brian?
So for Christina and Alex, this is Brian saying thank you for listening to episode 99 of Antenna Heads.